Bom dia.
Oi, muito obrigado, Nela. Como vai, Bruno? Tudo bem? Um prazer, um prazer. Muito obrigado por tua presença. É um prazer ter você, ter a Chiliz. A primeira vez que Chiliz está fazendo uma apresentação aqui no Uruguai, para a gente é um prazer. Muito obrigado.
Para nós também. Já fica o convite para visitar presencialmente, porque eu nunca fui ao Uruguai e tenho muita vontade.
Ah, sim, você é sempre invitado aqui. Ok, a gente vai passar a falar em inglês com Bruno. Bruno está em São Paulo e ok. Hi Bruno, and thank you for joining us and joining the Blockchain Summit Global. We are excited to have the mature blockchain provider for esports and entertainment in the world here. Please tell us a little about Chili's chain, the fan tokens, and how you are involving the fan engagement and innovating sport industry.
Well, thank you. Thank you again for having me here. It's a pleasure to introduce and to talk about the Chili chain, who we are, what we're doing. So I'll be introducing today the Chili's group, which is divided into three key verticals. The Chili's chain itself, a blockchain, a layer one chain, a permissionless chain, and this is something that we will touch base and speak specifically about new projects that are coming and building into our ecosystem. We are also the creators of the fan tokens, so we created this way of for fans to interact with their favorite teams in a global scale. And we're also the founders of the application socios.com, which is our consumer-facing product. So those three key things here that we'll be discussing. As I mentioned, the Chili chain is a layer one chain, a permissionless chain that allows developers from all over the world to build on our chain, be it a NFT project, something that has relation directly to the fan tokens itself, and then they can leverage all the community that we have around the people that already have fan tokens, people that already have the Chili's token, the Chili's governance token as well. They can be leveraged into these new projects and be much more efficient into what they're building. The fan tokens, they have revolutionized how fans interact with their favorite teams. These tokens give fans a voice in certain club decisions, such as voting on kit designs or influencing key elements of the fan experience. We work currently with more than 70 global sports IPs covering football, basketball, MMA, and a lot more. So that's a bit about the fan tokens. And last but not least, we have Socios, as I mentioned, as a consumer-facing platform. That is the central hub connecting the blockchain with the fan tokens and being, as I said, our consumer-facing platform where fans, they are rewarded with points based on their interaction within the platform, and then they can exchange these points for money can't buy experiences such as signed jerseys, experiences, meet and greets with players. They can also earn these points by participating in a number of polls that the clubs may ask them to vote. So giving voice really to the consumer. That's something very common in crypto, being a part of that consumer experience and being able to having a direct voice on it. So those are the three main aspects and things that we'll definitely get in much depth as we continue this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's very interesting. And Chile, though, Fan Token has found a very effective tool to build fan loyalty, especially among so-called global fans, who represent the vast majority of major clubs and are the ones clubs need to monetize the most. Could you explain a bit about the fan token model and how it's currently working across the different sport verticals?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said before, I think fan tokens, they are digital utility asset class. It's a new asset class that is being only available and only being available to the consumers at the end of the day because of the creation of the blockchain. So because of the blockchain, now we have a new possibility, a new digital class. There are the fund tokens that allow all of this integration in a very, very scalable way. And in collaboration with the sports organizations, they become very valuable for exactly what you mentioned, for creating the fund loyalty. And I think here the key aspect of what differentiates and allows people to have a different vision by holding a fund token is the scale, is the possibility of someone owning a PSG token in Brazil or in Uruguay or in other jurisdictions, in other countries that they wouldn't be able to do, or at least it wouldn't be as easy to do as it is now. You can earn and participate in and engage with a community of PSG token holders. You can engage and participate in a number of activities with clubs that weren't as trivial, weren't as usual. So this is true for the international brands, but it's also true for the Brazilian clubs. That's where I represent as well. Because it allows people from outside of Brazil also to interact with clubs and sometimes even having their first experience with that specific club. So we're helping not only the funds interact in a global way, but we are also allowing the clubs, many of the clubs, to have an internationalization of their brands and attracting new targets and new users from a global perspective. So when it comes to crypto, when it comes to blockchain, there is a unique sense of belonging that is very relevant, and they provide recognition. We are talking about a token, right, which is limited. You're going to see, if you read the contract, the smart contract behind the utility tokens, they are limited in a sense where there's only going to exist a certain number of tokens. There is a limit. So by acquiring those tokens, you are you have not only the sense, but you are actually part of that community, which is very important in football. Football mostly, probably alongside religion and other key things like that, allow people to really participate and to have official voice for these fans. And this is extremely important because sometimes these fans may feel a bit disconnected from the club. They feel like their opinions are not heard. They feel like their voice is not heard. And now there is a new way, in a global sense, for them to actually interact with that new tool. So that's very relevant, and they give these fans an active role, as I said, in daily activities, and they can vote through polls, and they can participate in a number of activities. We have a number of things that have happened, like fans being able to choose the song that was chosen, that played on the field when the team scores a goal, or a specific jersey that is the design is selected by the fans. So it's really giving back to the fans the voice and the possibility through the blockchain for the decisions to be heard. They also offer, of course, innovative experiences, which is very important, especially for the younger fans. They feel more engaged when they have something to do with the game. It's not me watching and sitting down and watching 90 minutes of a match, but it's also the possibility that I have of having something related to that specific thing that is happening. We see that a lot with the Gen Z and how they interact with the gaming and how they are more attached to what they do if they are part of building it out. And I think that's the possibility that we're also bringing here, as well as it's a new revenue share for the clubs. It's a new opportunity for clubs to create new lines of revenue streams, and that's of course very, very important for these clubs to continue to grow to continue to have better experiences at the stadium, to continue to have better teams. They need to continue enhancing all the experiences and generating new revenue streams. So I think those pillars, they add a bit of value and understanding here of how the fund tokens are generating more and more and more value to the ecosystem as a whole.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's really interesting and important, really. The young fans who are not satisfied about only watching games, this kind of engagement is really interesting. And lately, Chile has announced several partnerships and new integration, such as Olefoot game that we told that Diego Lugano as ambassador, our football soccer star from Uruguay, and the integration of the first stablecoin BRC in the chain. Tell us a little more about the company latest announcements and the plans for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to have applications like Olefoot being part of our ecosystem. That's exactly what we call the SportFi ecosystem. So it's the combination of the sports and the DeFi world where we bring in together and allow people to really create on top of what we are building. I think if I could make a similar analogy, I think it would be similar to what Apple did back in the day when they launched the App Store. Like Apple understands that they have the opportunity here to not only themselves develop a number of projects, but they can open it up for anyone else that wants to create and wants to interact with the hardware that they are making and with the softwares that they are making to create a larger network effects around everything that is being built. So similar to that, in March 2023 last year, May 2023 last year, sorry, we have decided to open up our chain to become a layer one EVM, which is a coding specificity for developers that make it a lot easier for people to actually build applications on top of our chain. So by doing that differently than our other chains, our chain differentiates itself by being the sports layer, the sports blockchain. And with that, we already have a number of people that have a number of digital assets on top of this chain that already has a community layer on top of it. So people already hold it, they already know it, they already trust it. So it's a lot easier for other dApps, as we call it, so decentralized apps, to build and interact with this community of people that are building, that are holding assets, that are purchasing assets, such as the fund tokens, right? And then on top of that, we already have 70 plus IPs that already trust us, that we already have the right to, the rewards to, that make it a lot easier for applications, again, like the Olefoot that is starting, that everyone needs to start at some point. But it makes it an easier way to engage with the community, to somewhat interact with these global IPs in order to launch their own projects. So I think it's very relevant, and this is the direction that we continue to go on. We want more applications to be built on our chain and to generate value at the end of the day for our consumers. And we understand that some of the solutions that are going to come out of the developers and the entrepreneurs of the world somewhat may not even be something that we have thought of before. But if they generate value to our users, if they are something that are going to increase the utility of the fund tokens, it's going to make it easier for people to be able to buy it. If it's going to be easier for people to be able to interact with what we have already created, so be it, right? We don't want to be the ones, and I'm pretty sure that back in the day when Apple was launching the App Store, it did not envision every single product, every single service that is being provided right now. Maybe they had an idea of what's going to look like, but I'm pretty sure that they could not see that far ahead, and that's exactly why we are opening it up to use people's intelligence, creativity, power of engagement to bring in communities exactly to build on top of this. And Olefoot is one of them. Olefoot is one of them, and we're very happy to be the chosen chain that they have selected. I know Diego Lugano is a phenomenal player, a huge legend in Uruguay, and we hope to bring Uruguayan community as well to be part of this revolutionary game, the game that really gives back to the user as they interact, as they engage, not only the other way around, as most games like we are accustomed to. So that we're very excited to have such an interesting and innovative kind of game at home. So to answering your question, yes, I see us continuously heading in that direction, where we will be able to provide more and more infrastructure so that people can easily build applications on top of our chain that interact with all the stakeholders that are currently at our ecosystem right now, and continue to build this ecosystem and continue to attract more fans and contract to provide more utility and scale even more beyond what we have done up to this point.
Okay, great. Really, really interesting. Thank you so much, Bruno. And I'm looking here for the fun tokens clubs here in Latin America. We have some clubs here in Brazil. We have in Argentina and Colombia.
Yeah, that's correct. We have the Argentina Federation in Argentina. In Brazil, we have over 9 tokens, 9 teams, 9 IPs that are within this ecosystem as well, like Flamengo, like São Paulo, where Diego Lugano also made history in Brazil. We have Corinthians. We have a number of the most relevant ones. We have also in Mexico. So yeah, we have a number of clubs in Latam, and also some of the main clubs also in Europe, like AC Milan, like Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester City, Tottenham. A lot of the Italian teams as well are part of this ecosystem that we are building.
Yeah, really interesting. This is a huge ecosystem. So really interesting. This blockchain that is for sports. Okay, thank you so much, Bruno, for your presentation. I don't know if you want to say something more, or well, thank you for that. I think Chiliz blockchain, it's a huge blockchain, it's a huge ecosystem. So I don't know, Bruno, if you want to finish with something.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you guys for the opportunity to introduce the Chiliz, our ecosystem, where we're going, what we're building. I think we are in a very interesting time. If you're a developer, if you are an entrepreneur, like looking into this, I think what I can speak on my end here as a country manager, Brazil is very close to Uruguay. That's the first thing. We have a very close relationship. You guys have been beating us very often now in football, which I'm not happy about. But it's such close, and Brazil has been very open to this kind of innovation. So if anyone is ever interested, I'll be happy to collaborate and see the opportunities there. I'm available on LinkedIn. You guys can add me, and then we can figure out what are the opportunities that I can build. I think everyone that is listening here, everyone that's somewhat connected to this ecosystem already, is already very early into what blockchain and what digital assets will become in the future. So I'm definitely keen on developing ideas further that you guys may have. So please feel free to reach out through the channels. And again, thank you guys for the invitation to participate in the event. It's always a pleasure to introduce what we're building here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. The applause for Bruno. Next year, we want to invite you to come here to Uruguay to the next year conference.
I'll be there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Muito obrigado, Bruno.
Obrigada, Bruno.